The most common CV mistakes. Again, ask me, I've been through, I don't even know how many CVs. And this recruitment agency in Australia backs me up. Spelling mistakes and bad grammar, lack of attention to detail. This all outweighs an otherwise perfect CV. Focusing on duties rather than achievements. So you did this, and this. So what? What were the results? That's ultimately what the company is wanting you to demonstrate. But it's about the structure. And the CV structure and the professional summary. There's a lot of conflicting information regarding do you do a cover letter or not? I received a newsletter last night and it was all about this is how you write your cover letter and this is what you need to say in it. And I thought to myself, now this is coming from America. But locally, yeah, a lot of the sources and the recruiters are saying no one wants cover letters these days. People don't have time to read cover letters. I think that the best way to go about a resume, and again, I've taken information from the Cheeky Scientist Association, and this really hits home, it makes sense. It's about the first bullet, there's 3 bullet points, and this is your summary. This is really your cover letter. I believe that this replaces your cover letter. And it's about your elevator pitch. Selling yourself in one sentence. And actually identifying the most relevant part of that specific role. It's essential because immediately that recruiter can see that you are speaking to that job. It's not a generic spray and pray, right? You must also include your most technical skill in the role, which is relevant to the actual experience that they are looking for. And they're talking about the hard skills and then the relevant skills to the role in terms of personality traits, soft relevance, soft skills. So if you can get that right up front, and it's worth spending time on doing this, it's going to take homework to actually tailor each and every application around the positions that are out there. You cannot do generic spray and pray. Credibility goes out of the window. So, here's your secret sauce. It's called the secret sandwich technique. If you look at this, it makes sense completely. It brings everything together that we have been talking about in terms of not polarizing soft skills to hard skills, and it's taking what you are able to offer from a soft skills perspective, throwing your technical skills, but also the results. Because at the end of the day, as I say, that's what companies are looking for. They're looking for the end results. What do you think of that recipe? Does that recipe make sense? Because this recipe is what I believe you should be using throughout all these tools that I'm going to show you now. It makes sense? Yeah? So there up front, you've got your soft skills or transferable skills. Excellent teamwork and collaboration skills demonstrated by managing a multifaceted biochemical research project. Here comes your result. Resulting in the development of 3 international collaborations, 1.2 in grant funding. So if you can actually get this recipe right, not only are the applicant tracking systems, which is the automation that's done nowadays in order to filter you out as candidates applying with the numerous other CVs. If you can speak to these specific pointers, you're going to be heard. So there is an art and a calculated approach to putting CVs together now. It's not like the olden days. The strong leadership skills and experience managing research professionals on collaborative projects. There we go, resulting. What was the results? Knowledge innovator with expertise in okay, and so it carries on. Recent discovery, that was the actual result. So Any comments here? Does this make sense to you? Can you see yourself being able to write your story in this manner? Being able to not polarize and actually build in your experience or your technical knowledge and skills with the soft skills you have to offer. And the outcome, ideally. So, again, now, don't shout me down. This is my combination, my knowledge, my experience, and the Cheeky Scientist Association giving me insights here. And I believe this recipe will work well. They say 1 to 2 pages, I'm pushing it to 3. I believe 3 is more realistic. And it's really about, if you look at the summary, remember we spoke about that summary up front, and your elevator pitch, your hard skills and your soft skills, speaking specifically to the job that's relevant. Then your work experience. Now, this is important, and when I say it's important, it's because we are faced with technology. The reality is the majority of companies, whether they are service providers or whether they are corporates, they've got applicant tracking systems. That is a killer when it comes to pushing your CV out. You've got recruiters that are inundated with CVs. And what automation does is if it does not find a match between your skill set and the job that they're looking at recruiting for, it spits it out. And you don't get a chance to get shortlisted. That is the reality. So we need to wisen up to this. And how do we wisen up to it? We wisen up by looking at what that question paper says in terms of what are they looking for, and ensuring that you tailor your CV around those keywords that are in that ad. Because what's it going to do? That applicant tracking system is going to pick you up as a contender, right? So that's why I'm saying it's a calculated approach to putting CVs together nowadays. If you don't have those keywords in there, you're not going to succeed through. And then affiliations, hobbies, and ongoing development, which is also essential because you need to demonstrate to companies that you've got the ability and the passion and the drive to continue learning, continue developing your skill set, especially if you've got an ambitious company that you're looking at joining, which most of them are at this point in time. And then references. So when it comes to publications, it needs to be quantified results as far as possible. Excellent project manager who facilitated the completion of the XYZ project by leading a team of 5 researchers resulting in. All right. Any questions? Have you got any questions there with regard to the CV format? Yes.
Okay, so I have a question because traditionally the education and academic background comes on the first page. Because if you're hiring somebody and they have, I'm looking for a master's or I'm looking for a postdoc or I'm looking for someone that has a PhD in clinical sciences or whatever. But I now see that you have education and background a bit later. Is that a reason why?
I've put it like that because, yes, experience has a lot to, ideally that's what companies are looking for. Again, this is not cast in concrete. It depends on what the company is looking for. It depends on what the recruiter is looking for. How do you get out there to be branded and seen? Because this is how these are the channels they're using in order to connect with you. This is interesting information, again, that was collected by Universum Global. And information that came through is that South African companies are putting greater focuses on their career sites and social media than other platforms. This has always been the case, I must say. Although LinkedIn and social media is sneaking up quite aggressively because they realize that they want to attract talent in the passive market. And the passive market is where people are hanging out, communicating, and not necessarily looking for a position, but in their downtime, there's reason to grab their attention. So, interestingly enough, South Africa is sitting on 51, the world 57. WMA is the world's most attractive employer, so it will be your big multinationals, your Googles, your Unilevers, etc. Employee referrals, again, is also a topic that's an employee-generated content is a big topic at the moment because companies are starting to utilize employees and brand advocates in order to do their recruitment because they feel that if they come recommended, they must be good. Sorry, you wanted to ask me a question? No. In recruitment, a lot of companies have, again, through research, seen that skills are transferable from one industry sector to the next. And, you know, often when I was looking at the data that was coming through some of these research projects and that, you'd have Google clumped with AB InBev or with a financial services company. And it was quite interesting to see that don't channel in one specific industry sector. Because at the moment, companies have got common needs across your skill set, whether it is in financial services or FMCG or hospitals or mediclinics or whatever. So make sure that you are open to that as well. Make sense? Folks, let's get down to business. And it's about LinkedIn statistics here are saying that 93% of companies use LinkedIn for recruiting, and I don't think this comes as a shock to you. 66% are using Facebook, and Twitter is actually creeping up as well. I've never personally resourced via Twitter. I wouldn't know how it works, I'll be quite honest with you, but apparently this is the channel to go. And 1 out of 3 employees who research candidates on social media find content that most probably, or most that makes a hire more likely. So whether it gives them a completer picture, fairly or unfairly, this is statistics that I've pulled off. If we have a look at how to maximize this professional portal, increasing the dwell time. What is dwell time? It's basically the online search component and that Google and LinkedIn uses in order to increase people to hang on to and spend time on your actual profile. It's how long people spend on your profile. Adding URL links and images, and again, I am still trying to perfect this. I've played around in it, but I've got images and I've got 1 or 2 URL links to my website and to YouTube clips on masterclasses that I've run and that. But it also does help in terms of keeping people on your profiles, company pages, putting universities, where you secured your PhD, any academic institutions that you're continuing your learnings with, and make sure that you've got white space. The more white space and not too much block copy. I know there's a limitation on how much you can put onto LinkedIn. The more dwell time people will spend on actually moving down on your profile. So try and ensure that you space it nicely. The other thing is location keywords, gains visibility apparently as well. I only can put South Africa in there at this stage because I'm not, I've attended masterclasses and that overseas, but that is also apparently a good thing to do, is to put keywords of locations of where you are presently studying and where you're wanting to be. So where's your destination of choice going to be? Then obviously the transferable skills, which we've spoken about, and you can see how that is coming into play all the time. And don't forget to take the relevant skills and endorsements. Link your resume to your LinkedIn profile. There is an opportunity to upload your CV right at the top in the summary. I'm led to believe. I don't have mine there, but you can upload your resume there, or you can, again, set up a private WordPress site where you can direct people to look for further detail. And then the keywords. Now, apparently people do this. They go into, there's a thing called word cloud, yes? They take a whole lot of job ads that are kind of positions that you would want to apply for. They put it into a word cloud and they have a look at those common keywords. They take those keywords and they weave it through the actual information that you have on your LinkedIn profile. Why do they do that? Because again, your recruiters, your sorcerers, technology is starting to scheme through. The world of technology is scheming through for keywords and that match up to the job ad that's out there. So have a look at the jobs that you want to work for. Look for those keywords and make sure it's actually integrated into the content of your LinkedIn profile. It makes sense, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah? Because what happens, as I say, I haven't hung out too much with the sorcerers because my world's recruitment and branding, but they've got all these Boolean strings and things they call that they put into the Google search, and that is how they pick up all the keywords of those people. That's how they find people. And you can also put alerts out there as well. Job alerts is something you have to be doing. You have to actually be doing that, whether it be on job boards, whether it be on company websites, whether it be on social media, whether it be in shared groups. There are job alerts that you need to be aware of so that you are notified in the event something comes up that you might be missing. So 66% of recruiters will hold spelling or grammatical errors on LinkedIn profiles against you. Again, make sure that you are giving close attention to how you put yourself out there. Again, my friend, the cheeky scientist, found it very interesting. They're saying you need to spend more time on networking. Getting interviews, preparing for interviews are obviously important, but this is where you need to be spending your time now if you're looking for a job or wanting to get out there. We're going to look at various ways of networking and what is at our fingertips. And these are your networking channels that I think, or I feel is the best route to go. Why I put friends, family and acquaintances up front is because of the fact that's your comfort area. And you need to change that conversation. You need to change that conversation and start looking at opportunities within your network, which is your strength, acquaintances, and your family and friends and that. And you need to understand what your agenda is. What are you going to go out saying to them? Don't you think it's a cool app? Hey? These are the people, my family and friends. These are the people, my student colleagues. These are the companies I'm busy approaching at the moment. This was the last communication that I sent to the recruiter. So categorize accordingly. These are tools that are out there and they're not expensive. Make it work for you. Okay, we were talking about meetups and interest groups. This is another channel that one can use. And social media has its place, yes, it has. when it comes to various groups. But meetups, there's no reason for you not starting up your own meetup groups. If you want to go hiking, there's meetup groups for that. There's meetup groups nowadays for so many different events and interest groups. So have a look at that as well. Career fairs. Career fairs, exhibitions and conferences. How many of you have been to career fairs, conferences, exhibitions? What has your feeling been like? Are there more coming up? Yes, all right, I'm not going to go, we're a bit limited with time here, so I'm not going to go through the career fairs and the exhibitions and how to prepare and what you should be doing before you arrive at an event like this or any other event. I don't know if you've seen the LinkedIn QR code instead of business codes. It's a very, very good app. And basically you need LinkedIn on your phones. I use this when I go to summits and conferences. I don't carry business cards around anymore. And you've got a QR code that you can scan in as long as that person's got the LinkedIn device or the LinkedIn platform. And it's a brilliant, quick way. So make sure you master this, you download it, and you make sure that you go to my code and it's there. The other thing, and I don't know if we've got time to do this, is the nearby. If you've got the LinkedIn app, and this works like a gem, especially when you go to these big conferences and there's like 1,000 people that are attending and millions of speakers and companies exhibiting and everything. You actually put your phone on to find nearby, and it automatically picks up people in the room, and you can connect with them. Have you seen this before? Can you do that? Can we try it? Can we try it? Okay. Very, very important. Do background checks, and make sure that you've done homework on your speakers. You should know the whole pedigree of all the lineup of speakers that are happening for the rest of today and tomorrow. You already should have your agenda, knowing exactly what you're going to say to these people, how you're going to approach them, what kind of questions. Have you been onto their websites? Have you seen that maybe they're advertising a job that you could speak to them about? Have you done the homework? Have you done the homework behind all these people? You've got the perfect representative coming to speak to you. It's up to you to make the connection. Employee reviews rank tops. The TripAdvisor of the recruitment and industry is Glassdoor and Careers 24 and Indeed. If you want to know anything about these companies, you can see the statistics are read online reviews. Over 50% read online reviews before they form opinion about a company. 87% are more likely to visit a company's career site once they've read the employees' response. And 78% say that employee ratings and reviews are influential. A lot of people don't fear on asking the request of the format of the interview. You have got a right to phone beforehand and say, I need to know who I'm going to be meeting. Is it just you? Is it your team? Is it the hiring managers? Is it a panel interview? What is it? So be prepared. You're allowed to do that. It's your right. If you do not ask, you're going to go in to a minefield and not know what to expect. The best sources before you go for your interview, you need to find out the nature of the business. What is their vision, their mission, their values? What is their value proposition? What are employees saying about the organization? The career page is evident. It's important. There's the day in the life of employees that sit there. Find out what it would be like to step into an employee's shoe. Look at what people are doing at work. Look at the corporate social responsibility. Does it align with you? Does it pull on the passions that you support when it comes to social responsibility? Have a look at the annual financial statements. I'm moving quickly now, I'm sorry. The social media and professional job boards, it's all out there as well. Have a look at the employers of choice. Have a look at the research there. That gives you an indication of what these guys stand for and why. Are those the companies necessarily you want to align yourself with? Do you want to be working at startups rather? So have a look at that. Don't be close to startups, especially if they align to your thinking. Just screen drops in terms of where you and what you are looking for in terms of opportunity. It's all out there. You just need to do the research. Behavioral-based interviewing, I don't know if any of you have experienced this. If you haven't been prepared for it, it's nerve-wracking. Anyone done behavioral? The situation, the task, the activity, and the result, because I want to actually nail this interview. It's important, very, very important. I've done a lot of competency-based interviewing, and it tells you immediately if these people are on top of the game, if they've done their homework. Please, guys, you have to be polished with it. The big day, ensure you're groomed, you travel to the interview, you've got the correct directions. I don't have to tell you all of this. Always make sure you've got a presentable CV as well and qualification documents on hand. Body language is important. Have a look at this. 55% is body language, 38 total, 47% words. Sometimes you get invited to walk around the office. Make sure you know how you are carrying yourself. You know, your body language. Make sure you are speaking volumes. As you're walking around, you might be invited to speak to possible, hopefully, colleagues, hiring managers, trying to have that confidence level out there. Be aware of how you are conducting yourself. Manners are essential. Handshake and smile. Sit upright. Don't interrupt. Let the people ask you. Don't ask for salary. Some people find it disrespectful. Remain professional and positive. If invited to chat, and body language certainly counts. So what happens now? So you've been for your interview and now we wait. I believe in always sending a thank you letter. I even do it after all my visits when I go and see clients, because I think it just makes it personable. It keeps you on top of their radar as well, and a lot of people don't do that. So again, about differentiating. Thank you, and also ask how long. You can ask how long. Let's go on.
Regards to salary, should we not ask though? Because I was the one interview I went to, and then my PhD, they asked me about my salary, and because we are like highly skilled, highly educated people, is a salary that we should expect. And just an example, my friend got a job in the UK recently, and she managed in her first interview to negotiate her salary up by £1,000 per month from what they were offering her in the first interview, and just offer the job the next day. So I'm not sure if it's a cultural thing in South Africa that it's implied or pushy to not.
Again, there's no
rule book.
There is no rule book. You know, again, different strokes for different folks. It depends on whether you've seen a service provider. Depends on whether you're going straight to the company.
Yeah.
It also, if they invite you by saying, so what are you looking at earning? That obviously is a big factor as well. But you can bring it up. But I think again, it's a matter of feeling the situation and tactfully.
It might be, as you mentioned, if they ask, so know what salary range you're looking at. And then also, if maybe you have repeat interviews, maybe you don't mention it the first time, but if you can talk back for a second or a third interview, so there's more chance, then you can start bringing it up.
Agreed. Because that might push you out from being shortlisted and further going down the. Again, you have to feel that there's no one size fits all, and you might be interviewed by a very traditional company.
That's the thing, I think maybe it might be quite a South African thing, kind of not necessarily going to extend if you are like in the job.
I'm just saying, get your timing right. I've been shown the time here. Sorry. Okay, don't become despondent. You're allowed to ask why I didn't make the grade, definitely. And then also, if successful, celebrate. So, 20 industry positions for PhDs again. Alright. And then, most recently, who's this lady? It's Catherine Johnson. There we go. Mathematician for NASA. She died on the 24th of February at the age of 101. And she pushed diversity and change as being one of the top priorities. And beyond Catherine's stellar mathematical work, she also changed NASA's workplace for both women and people of color. So read about her. I brought this up because it just happened to come across my desk, ironically, while I was coming to present to you today. So the sky was never the limit for her, going back to what Martina was saying. And a brand is what people say about you when you are not in the room. CEO, Jeff Bezos. Are you going to be that brand? Are you going to be Catherine? How are you going to go out in the workplace? And that's me, guys. Thanks for your support.